For those of you that love talking about animals, from Sci News, relict duck-billed dinosaur unearthed in Chilean Patagonia. Gonkoken nenoi is the first non-hadrosaur duck-billed dinosaur known from the southern supercontinent of Gondwana. And now, from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to Creature Guide Live Prehistoric News, and let's dive right back into the prehistoric news of the day. The hadrosaurs, though this says non-hadrosaur, yet says duck-billed dinosaur, which duck-billed dinosaurs are almost always referred to the hadrosaurs, so this is a bit confusing. They're not often talked about within South America. So, Gonkoken nanoi lived in what is now Chile during the late Cretaceous epoch some 71 million years ago. I wonder what else that is in the picture. This dinosaur was between 3.5 and 4 meters, or around 11.5 to 13 feet in length, and weighed up to 1,000 kilograms, or around 2,200 pounds. So, this is a small species of non hadrosaurid. It looks, I mean, maybe it's some species of elasmarian, but I think the elasmarians would have been extinct by this point. Um, some descendant of the iguanodontomorphs. So, let's keep going. The animal belongs to Hadrosauridae, a superfamily of dinosaurs that includes true duck-billed dinosaurs. Okay, what's probably going on here, this wasn't hitting me. This can actually happen with almost any animal. It can be placed into a larger category or more just brief category of animals, like in this instance, Hadrosauridae, which consists of different subfamilies, but it just hasn't been classified within a specific family of dinosaur yet. So, okay, this makes sense. So it is, you could say, in quote, a hadrosaur, but not just a member of Hadrosauridae. Okay, so it's kind of like when you're talking about kangaroos. And kangaroos, you can refer to them as a macropodomorph, but they're not always members of Macropodidae. And all dinosaurs are more closely related to them than to Iguanodon. They're still descendants of the Iguanodontomorphs. Duck-billed dinosaurs are among the most successful herbivores in the history of life on Earth. That's a first. They are referred to as some of the most successful dinosaurs within the Cretaceous period, or to an extent the Mesozoic. But a better term would be the ornithopods, which would consist of different species of iguanodontomorphs. But the most successful herbivores, I might give that to the sauropods or the sauropodomorphs, considering they had been around for a much longer period of time. Now, technically, the in a shorter period, the hadrosaurs would have created a variety of species, um, like in just a much shorter period. But um, I don't know. I might give that to the sauropods. Well, if you're talking about the predecessors, somewhere between at least 30 to 40 different species that we know of, then true sauropods, there could be over 300 different species at least that we know of. So let's see. Um, okay, so their tooth batteries with hundreds of teeth are arguably the most complex in vertebrate evolution and were capable of crushing, grinding, and shearing, different from the way certain species of mammal today chew. But they were the most efficient at chewing for any animal at that point, allowing them to exploit a broad range of plant resources that they could further reach at both short and high distances above ground. I think this would also help when it comes to obtaining nutrients from the plant. The question is, did hadrosaurs have a somewhat, four-chambered? It's not exactly a four-chambered, or oh, it is a four-chambered stomach. Some tend to think that animals like bison have four stomachs. No, it's just four different sections. Okay. Let's see. So the duck-billed dinosaurs attained their maximum historical diversity in the dusk of the dinosaur age, upon radiation of the advanced forms of Hadrosauridae during the Campanian and Maastrichtian ages of the Cretaceous period. I don't remember the last time I heard somebody refer to it as the dusk of the dinosaur age or the Mesozoic era, but You already had a wide variety of hadrosaur forms by 85 million years ago. So, though technically you could say that is Campanian, or slightly beforehand, but anyway, hadrosaurs became so successful that they are thought to have outcompeted other herbivores in relation to evidence for declines of dinosaur diversity in North America and China. It's still a huge debate as to, like, during the late Cretaceous, whether or not there really was a massive decrease in just dinosaur variety, throughout the world. So, I take that with a big grain of salt. Anyway, looking at some other individuals that inhabited. Oh, wait a second. Um, okay, yeah, we're in Chile. Wait, not Chilean. We're in Chilean Patagonia. Oh, we're in Argentina. This is Herrerasaurus, which existed in Argentina far before this hadrosauridae. This animal existed in the country somewhere around 230 million years ago during the mid Triassic period. So this was far before the first ornithopods, sauropods, even sauropodomorphs. Well, that's not true. They're already around. But Herrerasaurus um, reached somewhere around 15 feet in length, or a little over 5 meters, and in some instances could weigh over 900 pounds, or a little over 400 kilograms, and was practically at this point one of the largest species of theropod dinosaur to exist during the Triassic period. So even certain species of the large crocodilomorphs, which many the Herrerasaurus would avoid just simply due to how large they were at that point. There were certain smaller species they could have fed on, and it most likely would have fed on other species of dinosaur at the time, especially the first theropods or other species of theropods. It is a theropod, as well as early sauropodomorphs. And then travel forward to the early Cretaceous period, somewhere around 110 million years ago, and you have in Argentina Augustiniae, which is a member of the Digrosaurid lineage of sauropod dinosaurs. So this is a relative of the Amargasaurus over in South America, as well. That appeared slightly earlier, and even the later Nigerosaurus over in Niger, Africa. So, Augustine could reach somewhere around 49 feet in length, or around 15 meters. And it's been a bit of a debate as to whether or not it would have had immense osteoderms, or these distinct spikes sticking out from the exterior of its body, because more recent reconstructions have showed it having a much more smooth sort of a look. However, this individual looks like a very chunky brachiosaur, but it's actually a member of the Diplodocid family. So the Dicosaurs were more closely related to animals such as Diplodocus rather than Brachiosaurus. So let's see. And yes, it fed on different species of smaller conifers as well as ferns, even the earliest flowers. So let's see. Hadrosaurids became so successful that they're thought. Oh, I already said that. In addition, during the Campanian Maastrichtian, hadrosaurids were perhaps the only dinosaurs from the supercontinent Laurasia to have successfully colonized Gondwana continents. So here are all the bones that they found. I mean, for the average dinosaur, and especially a new species, this isn't bad, and a larger animal too. Usually, the better preserved specimens tend to come from smaller animals, but there have been larger species with very well preserved bones. They found parts of the skull, complete, which shoulder bones, the upper arm bone. Let's see, I guess yeah, the shoulder blade area, complete, almost complete pelvis, and some tail vertebrae. That's good to see. Or the shin. The fossilized bones of Gonkoken nanoi were recovered from the lower Maastrichtian Dorodier formation in Magallanes region, Chile. Oh, oh, it was in Chile. Wait, what's that? Oh, I forget. I guess Patagonia. It's has both Argentina and Chile. They're right next to each other. Okay, so Gonkoken nanoi is the first non-hadrosaurid duck-billed dinosaur ever found in Gondwana. So its presence so far south poses a challenging biogeographic enigma. Yeah, I mean, it is strange. This is very rare for this to occur, even during the late Cretaceous. And yes, there were a wide variety of predators that would have hunted this animal. You had different species of abelisaurids, such as Carnotaurus at this point. You had different species of megaraptor occurring, like possibly one of the largest species, Mape, which could reach over 30 feet in length, around 9 meters, and weighs somewhere between 3.5 to 4 tons. Carnotaurus was probably somewhere around 2.5 to 3.5 tons, so close to the same size. But I'd say Mape was bigger problem. Let's see. And any explanation implies remarkably long routes, large gaps in between, with no records of non-hadrosaur duckbills and marine barriers that stop most Laurasian dinosaurs. Most likely, these marine barriers could have been breached through chains of islands rather than continuous land bridges. This tends to happen a lot through the Mesozoic, where you would have had all these small series of islands in which dinosaurs would have inhabited. Now, it used to be made out that if there were any dinosaurs that were quite small, there have been a wide variety of island chains where large species, I'd say medium sized species of sauropod dinosaur have been recently discovered. And what I mean by medium sized is still reaching a weight of 15 to 20 tons. So for an island animal, that's pretty immense. Um, Even for an island as large as Madagascar, technically Australia is too. But anyway, let's see. You had much larger animals in Australia. Let's see. Such that any dispersal of terrestrial animals must have involved swimming or rafting on debris. According to the team, Gonkoken nanoi shares some derived traits with true duckbills, while several other characters retain the ancestral condition for Hadrosauridae. Gonkoken nanoi likely descended from North American non-hadrosaurs that are transitional to Hadrosauridae. Okay, so let's check out another animal from South America, which is this distinct individual, Piatniscasaurus. It is a relative of the Allosaurids. I mean, if you look at this distinct skull structure, it looks to an extent like the Allosaurs, but a bit more robust. The family of theropod meat-eating dinosaurs that it belongs to first evolved during the early Jurassic, around 179 million years ago, with Piankenosaurus being one of the first. However, they would mysteriously disappear somewhere around 152 million years ago, about 8 million years or 7 million years before the end of the Jurassic, which is quite interesting. There were quite a few extinction events with different families of dinosaurs that occurred at that point, despite it not being the end of the Jurassic. But you do see this with smaller, within the smaller epochs of time, even within the Cretaceous, Jurassic, or Triassic periods. This is a very good reconstruction. This is probably from like the 1960s, which for the time it wasn't bad. You would see this also with like smaller animals such as certain species of raptors or even Ceratosaurus. But it is interesting, despite looking like this animal is close to the size of Carcharodontosaurus or say, a very lean T Rex. This animal probably didn't reach much more than 13 feet or a little over 4 meters. So, probably not reaching much more than 13 to 1,500 pounds. So, for the time, it was a large predator, but even animals such as Dilophosaurus, which occurred much earlier in the Jurassic over in Colorado 190 million years ago, still reached over 20 feet in length and probably close to a ton. Given that this dinosaur, so back to the Hadrosauridae animal, given that this dinosaur is found so far south and that hadrosaurid remains cannot be confirmed from subantarctic and Antarctic regions, there's still a debate. There was a discovery back in the 1970s of a certain hadrosaur found in the Antarctic. It just hasn't been classified yet. Um, but yeah, I take that also with a grain of salt. This pattern suggests the ancestors of Gonkoken nanoi arrived earlier into South America than the hadrosaurids. giving the former a head start in reaching more austral regions. So I guess it's referring to just simply further south by austral regions. Hadrosaurs, in turn, may have not had enough time to reach this far south before the end Cretaceous mass extinction. Um, I think it just depends on what the barriers were like. If they're truly, also, is the habitat preferable? Do they even need to? That's a big question. I really don't think it would take them very long. So, let me know in the comments what your favorite species of South American dinosaur is. And from prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guy Live Daily News. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know, because nothing is better than all animals all the time.